At First Rounds on Me, we believe that one real date is better than 100 pen pals. With our mobile dating app, we make it fun and easy for you to meet someone in person for a real date. See someone you're interested in? We help plan your date. Pick a drink, a time, a venue, and send that person a date invite. It's that simple. You only get one confirmed date per day. Give your full attention to one person at a time so you can actually get to know each other in person. Our key differentiators allow you to focus on what's most important: dating with intention and connecting with someone in person. Once your date is confirmed, you only get 12 hours to chat before your date starts. If you're tired of the endless small talk with pen pals on other dating apps, First Rounds on Me is for you.
Welcome back to Crowdsourcing Love. I'm your host, Marin, and today I'm here with Surbhi. Hi, Surbhi.
Hey, Marin. I'm so excited to be here.
Thanks for coming. What's your last name? I was on your Instagram, and your Instagram handle is lordmakemetaller, which is iconic. But what's your last name?
So I don't have one.
What?
Yeah, I was born in India. My parents, thought I was gonna be a boy. I came out wrong, and their compromise was to not give me a last name because they're like, "Oh, your last name is gonna come from your husband, who is your real family, and you're just a guest in our house."
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and they've gotten a lot better since.
Okay.
Yeah, but that is Surbhi's origin story. That literally is the origin story for the best Bollywood movie.
It is a good
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. Is that common in India where parents don't give their daughter a last name, or is that just
No.
kind of unique to you?
That was very unique to my parents,
Okay.
and their logic was very much changing paperwork is so annoying, and you can just take it from your husband. And my parents don't even have the same last name. My dad and my mom have a
Okay.
different last name, and it's not common in India
Okay.
for the woman to not have her husband's last name. So they're just very weird
Yeah.
about names.
Okay. And are your parents still in India?
They're still in India.
Okay, so you're 25, right?
Yeah, 26 now.
You just turned.
Yes.
So happy birthday. Are you dating right now for marriage? Or I like to ask that question because my podcast and my platform started from just very intentional dating. Is that something that you're doing? Because obviously you're a few years younger than me. So are you still just dating for fun, or are you trying to be more intentional?
Dating for marriage, I feel like growing up in a place like India,
Yeah.
just casually dating does not make sense to me at
Mm,
all.
yeah.
I think, when I moved here, there was this idea of casually seeing people and then see if it
Mhm.
made sense. And I just felt you know, unhappy the next day that I
Mm,
put myself out. And I feel like I cannot emotionally, I need to be emotionally connected with a person to have fun. And
yes.
I cannot do that if I'm not committed with somebody. The
Mhm.
fear of STDs, pregnancy,
Yeah.
just a sex tape getting out. There are 30,000 things that can go wrong.
Yeah, you want to fully trust them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a very vulnerable experience to give your all to a person, and
Mhm.
that needs to be a person that I believe that I have a future with.
Okay, so how has that been going for you?
Oh, horrible.
Tell me more. Why? Why is it going so horribly?
I think I feel like this is on me too, that I'm hanging out at the wrong places. But
Okay.
I feel like everybody that I am sort of connecting with or want something with is a fuckboy. And a lot of it has to do with, I think, I'm a comedian. I joke a lot about, sexual topics. I make a lot of innuendos. I am very outspoken, extroverted. I like to party. I dress normal, girls like to party, but it
Mhm.
can be, construed as provocative or whatever.
Okay.
And I think that sort of gives an impression to people that I am easy or I am somebody who's not looking for something serious. But honestly, I don't even want to kiss you till we're exclusive.
Yeah.
For me, I grew up watching Bollywood movies where
Mhm.
holding hands was the most romantic thing that would happen, and there's
In the
just
whole
so much
movie.
tension. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's just so much emotions, there's so much tension, there's so much love, there's so much growth that happens. And you miss that. If you're going on a drinks date and then you're going back to their house,
Yeah, I agree. I like to have the slow build up, and I want to build trust with somebody before I jump into bed with them. So I totally get
Mhm.
where you're coming from. Just because you talk about sex doesn't mean that that automatically makes you an easy person. You're just somebody who's really funny, who talks about taboo topics. And
Exactly.
I wish people would understand that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm very vocal about this. Like
Okay.
every time, and I know like some people are like, "Oh, don't mention this like, like tell just makes boys don't like you, but whatever." But in on the first date, I'm just like, "Hey, I'm looking for something serious. If you're not, like, this is not a right fit."
Yeah.
And like this thing happened with a lawyer, I think, like, who was around like 13 years older than me, which like is a red flag in itself.
That's a red flag. That's
That
too
is a
old.
big
Yeah.
red flag, yeah. But he's very attractive,
Of
and
course.
I was like, yeah, I'm looking for something serious. And we would go out on dates, and then after this one date, which was near his house, and I feel like all of those traps that you're like,
They
that's not
set
do
those
it.
fucking traps. I swear to
They
God.
do,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
And this was, I think, our fifth date,
Mhm.
and we like are at this bar. We had food, we had drinks, it's closing, and he's like, "Oh, I learned to make like," and he's a bar, like, he likes to bartend, and he was like, "I learned this Indian cocktail, and like no strings attached, but I would love for you to come over and just try it." And I was like, "Okay, as long as that's the only thing that happens." And we go up to his apartment, which is like this penthouse in Midtown, looks great.
Yeah.
He makes me this like drink, very good drink, by the way, with saffron. Like, I wish I had the recipe. And then
Yeah, like, where is it?
yeah, that's the only thing I
Him.
miss is
Yeah.
that drink. Okay.
Like,
And
how'd you make it?
it's just, yeah. So we start, making out. And then suddenly I realize that his clothes are off and his penis is out. And I'm like, who took your
Ew.
clothes off? Who took your clothes off? Because I did not take your fucking clothes off.
This happens to me all the time. Where
Yeah.
men just all of a sudden are naked, and I'm like, how did that happen?
And like, just think about it. Somebody's making out with you.
Mhm.
Like, how unattractive is that you're like filling with your belt and you're taking, and I'm like, men just wear like the weirdest things, okay? Like, their shoes are so hard to get off and their belts
Yeah.
take a million minutes. And how did you do that? Like, you must be, in a habit of doing this without
Oh,
me
yeah.
realizing that your
Totally.
belt, your pants, your shoes, your socks, your shirt, everything came off. And like,
You're completely naked, like, poof, like, what the fuck?
yeah, and then I was like, I'm not ready for this. We talked about this. And then he's
And
like,
then he's
okay.
naked, and
yeah,
he's naked, and you're trying to have this conversation.
exactly. And he
Yeah.
tries to make out with me again. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for this. And I was very drunk at this point too.
Right.
And then he's like, he literally said the words, "Please, you gave me blue balls."
Ew. Oh my God, I hate him.
And
What
I
a
could not
pussy.
stop laughing.
You laughed at him?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Like, just this naked man who probably earns $1 million a year, has like a
Yeah.
house in the Hamptons, and probably owns this like Midtown, penthouse. He's
Apartment,
begging a girl who could be his daughter to like, have sex with him because I gave him blue balls.
I don't even believe in blue balls. It's like, go jerk off then.
Yeah, women
use
have
your
blue
hands.
balls for their entire fucking lives.
Yeah. No, that's stupid. And
Yeah.
you already told him, you were explicit with him, and like that's what pisses me off is like you expressed multiple times, hey, I'm not ready. Hey, if I come to your apartment, I'm not ready. Yet he pushed you. And I think that sucks. And I think a lot of men do that. And I don't know if like they're just so confident or what is wrong with their brains, but they just don't understand.
Yeah, I think that's that song, like Justin Bieber song, where he's like, "Oh, she's saying no, but she means yes."
Oh God.
And I don't remember the name of that song, but that caused like controversy, and then it caused double controversy because everybody was mad at the women, being like, "It's just a song." Like, what happened to men wooing you, like, sending you letters and
Oh my
like,
God, send me a letter. I would love a letter.
yes,
I would love
exactly.
that. Okay, going back to you being a comedian. So as a comedian, and I like hate being like as a female comedian because that sounds so cringe, but do you feel like dating is harder for you?
So it's so interesting. I actually have a podcast, and I have two like boy comedians on it.
Okay,
And
yeah.
if we ever post a reel, the only comments about me, even if I'm the one giving the punchline, is like how I'm dressed. And the comments about
Really?
them is how funny they are. And I think that is just how people perceive comedy in general, is that the
Mhm.
women are not as funny, and they're not there to be funny, they're there to look good, whereas the man is there to tell the jokes. And like, if you look at any male comic, it's right, they have got like tens. They are, like,
Mhm.
how did Pete Davidson pull all these strings of women Like, that man doesn't even look like he washes himself ever.
Yeah,
Like, he's the
pretty
man
tall.
who like goes for a 30-second shower and only cleans his dick. I know, and never his balls. I'm telling you, that's the type of man.
Wait, what?
That's what he like looks like. Just very
Yeah.
unkempt, very unhygienic.
I've never thought about if a man washes his balls or not. He better. What the fuck?
Yeah, and then these dirty ass men are the ones that want you to suck their dicks all the time.
Yeah, I would never. If it's a
Yeah.
dirty dick, I'm not even going near that. Also, I heard recently one of my friends was like, I tell guys I will not even do that unless I'm their girlfriend. That's like girlfriend privileges.
Mhm.
And I love that.
I love that. I
Mhm.
think for me, and I feel like I will like not be able to date a lot in New York because of this, but I'm very particular. Is like I'm not going to have sex unless we're exclusive.
I'm like that too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's like the smallest ask, you know?
It's not even that big of an ask. And I feel like also guys get so weird about committing. And it's like, if you like me and I like you, let's just date. And then if we stop liking each other, then let's break up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But I feel like guys in New York City specifically are very, very phobic of commitment. But maybe it's also because we're not the right match either. Like maybe there's a deeper reason. But I just feel like there's less people nowadays who are like, we're boyfriend, girlfriend. We gave it a go. Didn't work out, so we broke up.
That's yeah, I have not heard that.
No one's
Honestly,
doing that anymore.
Yeah, and everybody's on the app, and
Mhm.
I've never heard of a success story from the apps. Like it's like
Yeah.
every man in New York loves New York, dating in New York, and every woman is miserable. That's my experience.
Well, because there's way more women than there are men,
Mhm.
which creates hookup culture.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
also like I think, and this is something somehow that's still hurting women, that we finally have some autonomy. We're making the same, even more. We're doing,
Money,
yeah,
yeah.
money. We're like in crazy positions. You know, like for me, I also work in tech, and I am lucky enough to, you know, be in a place where I am getting like a very handsome salary. And
Mhm.
I want my partner to be able to make the same amount of money, so we have, or more, or like just like a similar, you know, bracket, so we
Yeah.
are able to have a similar lifestyle.
Mm.
And like that is something that people look down at, because like a lot of people that I interact with on a daily basis are comedians who are just doing comedy, and that does not pay as much
Yeah.
unless you're Dave Chappelle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're like the 1% of
Yeah.
comedians who
And-
fully made it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And it's not even like they're like, oh my God, you make so much money and you can be my sugar mommy. Like, the concept of sugar mommy is not a real thing, because these men are so emasculated. They hate the
Yeah.
idea of the woman being more successful. And it's just very awkward. Because I look very young, and to be like, oh yeah, I'm expecting these things, especially when, you know, I grew up in Indian culture where everybody is like in these professions where they're very high earners.
Mhm.
So it's like a very simple ask, is that, you know, we are on a similar standing financially.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I also think though for me, like the older I get, I'm kind of like I know I'm going to be successful. I do have this weird thing though with guys where I like them to be more well off than I am.
Mhm.
But now that I'm gaining my own traction, I'm like I actually just want us to have similar values, but he has to be ambitious. If he hasn't succeeded yet, okay, that's fine. Like as long as he has a plan and he has ambition, I can work with that, right? Like he doesn't have to be fully arrived.
Mhm.
What I can't work with is like the bum mentality, the people who are just wanting handouts, the people who want the girl to make all the money, but also cook, but also clean, but also, you know, do all these things.
Mhm.
And then what is he doing? You know, that's my question. What are you doing then? If she's doing everything else and earning the money, what are you doing?
Yeah, that is 100% true. Like, if you think about it, you know, like, what do men bring to the table?
Money.
That's it. They
Yeah.
like you. It's a big, you know, status symbol to have an attractive wife. So, like, women are expected to look better. Like, honestly, like, go on a date. Like, his cost versus your cost. Okay, your cost is your hair, your makeup, your clothes, your shoes, your just like nails if you're getting those done, your perfume. Women's perfume is like 3 times more expensive than male perfume, like.
Right.
And then the men, they don't even comb their hair. Look outside in New York City, all these supermodels going, like, it's the Hailey Bieber, Justin Bieber photo. I don't know if you've
Oh, I
seen.
just saw that.
Yeah,
Yes.
he looks
Yeah.
like he is still like on the subway trying to make money doing music.
Yes.
And that's the thing, is that they don't have to make that effort. Like,
No.
nobody's gonna be mad at Justin for dressing like that. But if Haley
Dressed
dressed
like that,
similarly,
and he was in a suit, people would be like, "What the fuck? There's something wrong with her."
yeah, no, I think that's very much how it is in
Mhm.
like this dynamics versus women versus men. Like,
Mhm.
even if you're bringing the exact same thing to the table, the same amount of money, the same amount of like looks, you're both like nines,
Mhm.
there's still this like big inequity
Mhm.
where there's so much more expected out of the woman and the man. Like, whenever a dad is with their child, everybody's like, oh my god, the dad's babysitting, he's
He's
looking
such a
great.
good dad.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And if the mom is with her kid, it's like expected. Of course she should be with her kid.
And she's a high career woman and she has a nanny, then she's shunned. Like, why is the man not shunned for having a nanny? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think these double standards is like where I'm like, I expect a lot from whoever my partner's gonna be. I am looking for a partner. I am looking for marriage. I think like I moved here, I'm on a visa. I think if like it just the person who I'm going to settle with, like whatever their nationality is, where they are, that is going to mean like where I have to move,
Yeah.
right? Because I am not here like permanently, or and if they're
Right.
American, then to stay here.
Yeah.
And I think that adds this like another bit of like inequity where there have been men who have been like, oh, let's date because I can give you a green card. And I'm like, yeah, what makes you think I even want to stay here forever? Like,
Yeah.
it's nice that I'm here now and I'm working and I'm
Mhm.
like doing my own thing, but I was literally born to get married. Like, that was my prophecy.
Like,
Like,
I can
no.
give you citizenship. Like, I'm a bum, but I can give you an American visa or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Is it a green card?
A green card. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
There is this comic, I wouldn't mention his name, this like
Mhm.
white comic, like he's been good, he's up and coming, he's
Okay.
doing well, but he is, like lives with 5 roommates in Harlem and like trying to make it. And
Mhm.
he has mentioned to me like 6 times, I am looking if you ever want, I'll marry you for the green card. All you have to do is because I live in like a nice apartment, and he's like, let me have like the second bedroom because I have a 2-bedroom apartment. And I was like, dude, if I wanted to just get married for a green card, I can call my parents and be like, look in your like matrimony roster.
Yeah, like your Rolodex of
Yeah.
people.
Of
Yeah.
like the 50 like Indian doctors that you can set me up with today to get married, who
Yeah.
live in your city.
Oh,
who
touche.
yeah,
Yeah.
like what do you bring to the table? I think like even if I were to do arranged marriage, I would be able to find like the things that I'm looking for on paper: financially well off, like good looking, person who shares similar values, better than like dating one of these like bums off
Yeah,
of New
he's
York.
being a bum. The way that he propositioned you was such bum behavior. So, going back to arranged marriage, then, would you do arranged marriage?
So I'm of that age where my parents start sending me like profiles of
Mhm.
men, and I was very much against it. Absolutely not. But honestly, it's not that much different than having a matchmaker,
Yeah.
and like because they are going through a matchmaking service. It's not like
Right.
they're people like kids I grew up with, like that we know personally. They are like trying to find, but the things that they look for in a match is different from if I were to hire a matchmaker in the US. Like, they look for like family status, what is
Okay.
like, and even like caste and all of that. I'm
Oh,
sure
they look at
they
that?
don't talk about it, but like
Okay.
if you look at an Indian matchmaking app,
Mhm.
right? It's called shadi.com. Marriage is the English meaning of shadi. And they ask the most ridiculous questions. How much are you earning? What is like your skin color?
Mm.
What is your caste? Do you eat non-vegetarian food? Like, can you make chai? Like, they ask the most ridiculous
Can
questions.
you make chai, like the chai tea?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they're asking for like all of these things. What's your height? What's your weight?
Your
Like,
weight?
yes.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
No, I should have gotten my shadi.com profile to
You
review
should have.
here.
That's so intense
Yeah,
and a
so
little intrusive.
it is very
Yeah.
intrusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they ask like not just the things about you, what your parents do, how much do they earn, like what do your siblings do, how much do they earn, what country are they based in, if they're in like US or Canada or UK or
You guys don't
Australia.
fuck around. Like,
Yeah.
that is like straight to the point. Like, I'm a very blunt person,
Mhm.
so I kind of like it, but it is a little much.
It is very much, yeah.
Yeah.
So like when they're doing their sorting, they are
Yeah.
looking for somebody who's like good financially, who is good like family status wise, that their friends are not going to be like, oh, your daughter married like a weird white guy, or like she married somebody outside the community. They're of my community, they're
Yeah.
Punjabi, they're like, but and their families share the same value, but I don't know if the kids will share the same
So,
value.
but they're not doing like a personality assessment to
No.
make sure that you guys both like to read books and go on walks through the park or whatever. Like it's more so about your status and background
Yes,
more than
exactly.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How much do you earn? What's your height? Like those are like very superficial characters. So I feel like, like earlier it used to be they would show the bio data to the families would say yes,
Mm-hmm.
and the kids never had any say. And then the boys started to have some say where the boys could say no. And now, they just like are like, oh, if like when my mom sends me a profile, she's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this guy's in New York. If you like him, here's his phone number, and you guys can go on a couple dates and see what makes sense.
Oh, okay.
And I think that is a lot like that's something that I'm open to, where
Yeah. I like that. You have agency in that situation. You can see his picture and decide if you want to give him a call or not.
exactly.
That's nice. I like that.
So it's like another dating app. And
Okay.
that I'm open to. That type of arranged marriage situation, like I'm not 100% closed off. So I'll always consider a guy that they send me, and
Mhm.
most of the time they're like very like slick hair, like Indian boys.
Could you help him? Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of guys don't know how to dress, and sometimes the guys who know too much about dressing
Mhm.
suck. You know what I mean? Like I would rather get somebody who's like a little bit of a work in progress
Mm,
and I can help them with their fashion, I can help them with their hair gel situation
yeah.
rather than the guy who's like always in the mirror checking his face. Like I would rather have the guy who's like a little bit aloof
Mhm.
rather than the guy who's like super into his looks.
I think that's the one thing. I feel like the dream guy would be
Mhm.
somebody who has like 4 posts on Instagram for like
Yes.
5 years ago that are not of his face.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same.
But there was this one thing that I, like read in just a dating book, and like I've heard on TikTok
Yeah.
also, where they're like, "Oh, be wary of like projects of the people who are the men who are making it, because you don't want to be the woman when they're in progress, because when they're done, they will be like, "Oh, she chose me when I was nothing, so
Mhm.
I can level up." And they're going to try to level up.
Oh, I've never heard that. But then there's also men who are loyal and they're like,
Mhm.
she was with me from day one, and then they pay homage to that woman too.
Yeah, and I think if you look at like a lot of like basketballers, a lot of
Mhm.
players who are with their girls from like high
From high
school.
school, you see that all the time and they're
Yeah.
loyal. And so I think that like I think people do have qualities that are pretty static. And I think like loyalty is one of those things. And so I think people who are going to be loyal are going to always be loyal. And I think people who are going to be shady are always going to be shady. And so I think that when you're looking at a partner, you should really assess like, is this person deep down a good person? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That sounds really extreme. But if they do feel a little slick or a little slippery, chances are like that's at the beginning when they're trying to like give you their best impression.
Hmm.
That's going to get worse down the line. Like go for the men who are a little bit uglier but have good character. That's my recommendation.
I think
For myself too.
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think I went from like phase to phase, where one phase was like, oh, if he's like not good looking, he has good personality. Not true. Those are not mutually exclusive.
I
Then was
agree.
like, yeah, if you want to get your heart broken, at least get it broken by a 10. Also, no.
Yeah.
The looks are not everything.
They're
Looks
not.
go away after day 2. Like literally, you never even want to. I never want to post my boy on Instagram. Honestly, I want him to be taking my photos, but be in the background. I
Yes.
never want him there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what he looks like, because I don't care what he looks like, because a lot of these good-looking guys have no personality whatsoever, and there's just so like I don't know. They're ugly on the inside.
Yes. So I was watching one of your TikToks and you were talking about how this guy came up to you late night to approach you.
Mhm.
And he was, he thought you were cute and wanted to say hi. And you like clung onto your pepper spray and you crossed the street and you were like, not today, Satan. And then you got home and you were like, he was cute. Like maybe he was just like a normal guy who like was interested in me genuinely, but, like, women are so afraid. Like, is that something that you experience a lot? Like, do you just, like, in New York, do you just feel like you kind of hunker down and you stay away from men who approach you on the street? Regardless of how they look, I guess?
Yeah, not just on the street. I feel like even in clubs and bars,
Yeah.
which is where everybody's like, that's where you should meet men. I think
Eh,
I'm a very tiny person.
you are
I'm,
small.
yeah, 4'9.5". I am
Okay.
a little baby.
Mhm.
And like closed spaces with loud music where you can't speak is like not a no for me. Where like there's no personal space being,
Mm.
respected. And so like clubs and bars are not my favorite places. And
Yeah.
every time there's a man who like comes up, it's like they want physical. It's like a guy on Hinge who's like responds to that, my like love language is physical touch. Like I'm not here to be your like teacher anyway. Like we're both
Yeah.
here at the end of the day for a relationship that's gonna manifest into something physical.
Yeah.
So like for you to like put that up front is just telling me that you're looking for sex.
It's more transactional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in a bar, it's never, oh my God, I love your personality. That joke was so funny. Or like,
'Cause
I
you
want
can't
to talk
hear
to
each
you.
other. Like,
Exactly.
you can't hear in a bar or a club. So,
Yeah. So when, somebody comes up to me at a bar or a club, even if they probably have the best intentions and
mhm.
in their head, all the like songs are playing and they're in love, I am like, oh, I need space. I need to step away. I do not want
Yeah.
you, touching me. I do not want you close to me. Like, I just don't think I want to meet new people. And even though they have the best intentions, I personally get very closed off
Okay.
because I just don't know like how something that starts like so physically is gonna manifest into something emotional.
Yeah, I agree. And I also feel like guys, a lot of times, like some of my guy friends will be like, me and this girl, we hook up all the time. We have amazing sex. And recently she told me she wants more than sex. And so, like, I'm open to it. But then every time we start texting, it goes straight back to sex. And so it's hard for them to see her as more than sex. And I feel like, yeah, like if you're in the club and it starts out so hot and heavy with like no formalities, it's hard for guys to transition. I
Yeah.
think. Like some of them can do it, but not all of them.
I do agree. I think, yeah. And then even the thing, where like I was walking home and it's 5 in the morning, I was also very like drunk when I made that. But I like, I would have reacted the same way regardless of when it would have happened.
Yeah,
But if you like watch movies, rom-coms, a lot of love stories start like that.
they do.
You start talking on the street.
Okay, so I do have a few more questions though about the
Mhm.
arranged marriage thing.
Yes.
So do you, because you're Indian,
Mhm.
and do you only date Indian people?
No.
Okay, and do you want to marry though only an Indian person, or are you open to marrying cross culturally?
I am open to marrying cross culturally. I think my first like very serious boyfriend was white, and we were about to get married. We were very serious. I think what that taught me was I want somebody who is open to learning my culture more. I think that was the biggest issue is that he just didn't understand or want to understand where I came from.
Yep.
And I had to just explain, my culture. And he sort of like would look down at being Indian a lot.
Oh, okay.
And that
That's
was
not
like
cool.
not nice. Yeah. And I think I want to find somebody who is like open to like learning about my culture, and I'm open to learning about there because even in India there's so many different communities like
Yeah.
South India versus North India,
I mean,
even in
India
North
is
India.
massive, right? So there
Exactly.
has to be many microcultures within
Yeah,
India.
it's like if somebody from Mississippi marries California, like
Two
they're
different cultures.
completely different.
Totally, totally. Okay, and then you were talking about the arranged marriage thing. So, do most people who are in the US or in India still, do they mostly do arranged marriages still? Or because I know that like the way that they're talked about, it's like arranged marriages versus love marriages, even though arranged marriages a lot of times are happier,
Hmm.
like statistically speaking. So, how is that changing now, like with like modern times and like globalization and all of that? Like, has that shifted in India?
So I find this very interesting is that
Yeah.
especially like the boys who move here from India and a lot of the people that I know and the circle like that I end up hanging out with and dating are like people who move here for college similar to me.
Hmm.
Because there's like this big divide between like Indians who were born here and the Indians who move here. There's like and that's a long story. We can go back to that, but
Yeah.
the people who move here. So the guys who come here are like, oh, I want to sow my oats. I want to have fun. I want
Oh
to play
God.
around with the
Yeah.
girls who are easy in the US. And then I'll have my mom find me a good girl for me to marry and go back home to.
Yep.
So that's something that I've seen a lot. And that's something I want to avoid. And then
Mhm.
there's this also like that I was mentioning. So we call them ABCDs, American Born Confused Daisies.
Okay.
Yeah, and they call us fobs, which is like fresh off the boats.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's this big like rivalry where they're like, oh, you're like the Indians who come here are like, you're too American, you're not Indian enough.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people who were here are like, oh, you're now there are too many Indians because of you, and we're not able to get jobs, and we're not getting able to get into colleges, and like there's this like whole like rivalry for no reason. And
That's
like
silly.
yeah, like the ABCDs look down at us, and like a lot of my friends are ABCDs, and I don't care. And I think but you do see that difference because I don't have an Indian accent that's overt, and unless I tell people, like they assume I was born here.
Mm-hmm.
And the second you mention like something shifts in them, and they're like not respecting you as much,
Oh,
which is like
that's fucked up.
yeah, weird. And so I think I really want to find somebody who's acclimatized to the US, who is sort of like me, maybe moved here like at 13, 14, and has seen both cultures.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
So ideally, though, you'd be with somebody who has a good sense of your Indian heritage and culture.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think the dream would be like somebody who, like knows like Hindi. Hindi is the language that's my first language. And like, so, in case we had kids, which
Mhm.
I don't know, in this climate, like, we might just all die with the earth ending in 4 years.
That's true.
Yeah, so if we ever,
Valid.
choose to have kids, I think it would be nice to like for them to know the language. But it would also be nice if like I have an Asian partner and they know Korean and Hindi, or
Yeah, that'd be cool.
yeah,
Fusion.
exactly.
I think
Or I
there's
have a
something needs-
Southern partner and they know Hindi and racism. Like who knows?
Another phenomenon I see in New York specifically is I see, there's a lot of Jewish men, a lot of Indian men, a lot of men with different, heritages or cultural backgrounds. And a lot of them I do see where it's like they absolutely would not marry a girl outside of their culture, but they for sure would fuck around with them. And I think that's a bit of a fucked up phenomenon because a lot of these women are looking for something serious. And then there's these men who are like you said, like wanting to sow their wild oats and kind of wasting a lot of women's time. And I'm not just pointing out one culture. I see it across the board. Like I talk to men all day, every day about dating, like now that I'm in this dating space. And I always ask guys, like I just met an Armenian guy and he was like, yeah, I would never marry a girl who wasn't Armenian. And I'm like, okay, I respect that. That is valid. But then why are you dating outside? Whether it's a white girl or an Asian girl, whoever, to me, it's like, what the fuck?
I think it also, a lot of this comes from men. Like, I don't think women are as closed off as men in terms of culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're, like, especially with Indian cultures and Jewish culture, I feel like they're very mama boy. Like, where they're like,
Yep.
oh, my mom wants somebody who's Jewish from both sides. My mom wants somebody who's Gujarati and not Punjabi. It's like,
Totally.
yeah, I want somebody whose mother is not going to force me to quit comedy. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah, no, and for me, I just want somebody who's like alive. Okay, so I wanted to go over your dating app. So I told you to come prepared with some best and worst lines that men have said to you on dating apps.
Yeah.
Want to take it away?
Yes, I have a lot of bad pickup lines that we can start with. Or do you want to do alternate, or do you want to do good and then bad?
Let's do bad first, and then we can go to good.
Okay. So and I showed you this before the podcast. I have a photo where I was just flicking my hair and it looks really good, but I have all these men commenting on my armpits.
Point it at the camera.
Yeah, here.
Cute. Okay.
Yes. And so this one guy writes, these pits are just edible, nom nom. Beside that isn't meant to be repulsive, but woman, showing them us Indian men like them so much. What are you doing?
Armpits?
Armpits!
Wait, Indian men like armpits?
I have not heard of any Indian
I've
man
never
liking
heard that.
Yeah, and this guy is like, wow, you're really cute. Really cute. Kewl.
Oh.
Yeah. I've got to say, I have a fetish for smelling girls' shaven underarms. Just turns me on. As I write, I'm getting a hard on. Let's match up.
No, that's disgusting. In what world does a woman see that and read that and think, you know what? I'm a message him back and let's meet up.
It's giving very Omegle. Like, I don't know if you've ever done Omegle.
I have not. What's Omegle?
Omegle is this like website where like everybody just has their video on and you can go
Oh.
through like random strangers.
Yeah.
And it's just men masturbating and like,
It's like
young
stranger
girls.
roulette.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Stranger roulette and like
Yeah.
girls, young girls being like, ha, whatever. And
God.
like, I don't know what this man thinks is that I'm gonna look at his semi-hard 2-inch penis and I'm gonna be like, oh, I gotta take my clothes off for this one now.
If a guy who is a stranger is talking to me about his hard penis, I don't care if it's Brad Pitt. Like, I'm disgusted. Don't do that. It's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And especially when it is like in such like a close-up shot where you don't see anything but it's like hairy pubes and his like tiny penis.
Wait, he sent you his penis?
No, not this guy, but in Omegle, people do that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the like that. This is what that energy is. That they're like so desperate.
Yeah, that's desperate energy. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Any other ones? I
Oh,
love
yes.
this. This is so juicy.
You are so beautiful. My zipper is falling for you.
No.
That is so bad.
Just no.
Like, if of all the things you could say, you can just end with "You are so beautiful." That is a great sentence. I love that.
My zipper is falling for you. It's like a little clever,
But in
but
the
it's
worst
so
way.
gross. But I hate it.
Yeah.
Okay, what else?
Like, you can just say, "My wallet is opening for you." I'll be a little bit more respectful.
Honestly, I might actually respond to the wallet opening. The
Yeah.
zipper lowering, no.
Yeah. My phone is calling the Hermes shopping lady. Like, that's what I will
Yes.
respond to. Like, my personal shopper at, Nordstrom is ready for you. I'm like, that's a good pickup
That's
line.
hot. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll work with that.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Let's see. On our first date, can we have sex? Because we all know you only have this app to get back with your ex.
Huh? No.
It's
No.
so self-deprecating. I don't know why why would you say
He's
that?
so desperate. He
Yeah.
just wants to have sex with you one time because you're actually trying to get back with your ex.
Like, and why does he think, and this is not even like sending it to me. This was one of his prompts. So he's
No, so that was his prompt.
publicly, he's
This guy
telling
is
that to every girl.
This guy's never getting laid. Never. Like, he's actually doing the opposite to himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand with men, dude. Like, you do the worst things
Mhm.
and you expect so much to come out of it. Like, I don't know. And there's all of these, like, self-deprecating one that I saw where it's like, do you have an ugly boyfriend? No. Want one?
Yeah. Confidence is so attractive. And, like, I actually like a guy who's, like, maybe slightly self-deprecating, but don't do it in that moment.
Yeah.
Just ask me to drinks and dinner. Like, why are you saying all that random shit about being ugly or your zipper falling? Like, it's so stupid.
It's not good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one guy was like, "You're so beautiful. Unless you match with me, I'll kidnap you." Like,
Wait, what? Wait, you can't say that. Like, he's gonna end up on a watch list.
yeah, I don't know what he thought. Like, he thought that was a compliment.
No, that's actually psychotic. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't match back, I'm gonna find you and I'm gonna keep you. No.
And I used to have like a bit about this actually because I have a lot of boys in my Instagram DMs who are from India, like little villages in India who are like, "Oh my god, you're so beautiful. I'll come find you and I'll kidnap you or I'll take you and I'll make you my wife." And I'm just like, "Okay, dude. Like that's creepy. But like if you are so committed that you will find a way to get a US visa and come to New York and be like, be mine. Like that's more commitment than any guy in New York has ever shown me.
Totally.
Like,
so maybe come through.
maybe-
Let's see it.
Exactly.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, don't DM me this. Show up with flowers.
Yeah.
Show up and woo me. Like, bring me a Birkin, and then we'll talk.
And then we'll talk. That's like the opener. Thank you. Okay, let's hear the good ones. Mine are as, like, your bad ones are so fucking funny that I'm in stitches. I need to hear the good ones.
Okay. There's this good one. Okay. They're not the best ones. The bad ones are so much better. But yeah, this guy, it was so cute. He was like, want to be like otters and hold hands so we don't float apart in our sleep.
Wait, that's really cute.
Yeah.
Like, I like it just because I like a guy who's, like, maybe slightly quirky
Mm-hmm.
and, like, a little bit different. Like, I'm so annoyed of, like, the hey, what's up? Or how was your weekend? Like, that, the most generic shit, just, like, it doesn't even register in my brain. So if they say something about like an otter in a cute way, like I'm kind of down.
Yeah, and I think it's so sneaky because he's talking about like, let's hold hands in our sleep. Like he's talking about, sexual like
Yeah.
touch, but it's so cute.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh yeah,
And otters are so cute that you're just in your head, you're picturing an otter.
yeah. Like I am not thinking of him like, being like, oh, one night stand. Like he wants to make love to me, like when it's the right time.
And afterwards, he wants to cuddle, and then he wants to hold your hand. That he probably wants to buy you breakfast in the morning. Like this man is here to work and woo you. Do you have any other good ones?
Oh yes. All I want is to poorly Photoshop you into outdated memes. Can you be my girl for that?
I love that.
It's
Oh my
just
God.
so random. It was so cute that I changed one of my Hinge prompts to be like, all I want is to be poorly Photoshopped into memes.
Honestly, I love when men make me memes. Like it's like honestly the key to my heart. Because it's funny, it's witty, and they're like doing some arts and crafts.
Yeah, and it is such a like personal thing. Because the meme is about something that happened to you guys, okay?
Yeah.
And the photo is you. So he's not sending it to 20 girls.
Yeah.
It's so personal.
Oh, it's so personal.
Yeah.
Okay, give us another one. That's a really good one.
Oh yeah, this one, I think this is a quirky one. Let's Irish goodbye Hinge together.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay, I want to hear what you think of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, do you have one more? Because I need to find it.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I have more bad ones.
Okay,
Are you a
okay.
jellyfish thing? Because I want to pee on you.
Disgusting. No.
Oh. Then there's so many of these like self-deprecating one where
Yeah.
this guy's like, oh, are you looking for some good sex? No, then I'm the right guy.
No.
And so when are you going to give up hope and just marry me? Like, why?
So desperado. Okay, this guy said this.
Mhm.
Can't tell if it's good or bad. So he said, this summer has been rather manic as I've had a flurry of friends from London popping over for a visit. It's been great hosting them, but providing boozy tours has taken its toll on me. How long have you graced the mean streets of New York City? It sounds pretty bad as I'm reading it.
It's very long, and it's like, I think, so it's one of those where it seems like he's really into you, but he's only talking about himself. He's like, this is what I did for the summer, and like the same thing that you were like, I hate when people are like, what did you do? And he's literally asking, what did you do this
You're right,
summer?
but he just like put in a lot of adjectives.
Exactly. But it feels like it's fancy and he's into you.
Mhm.
But he could have sent that to every girl. And I think
You're right. He
That-
probably copy and pasted because that's like that's a mouthful.
and as somebody, and I'm very good at this, is that writing very personalized messages that are generic and that can be forwarded. Because
Yes.
I used to work in entertainment, and a lot of my, like, I spent a month, like, trying to find an agent. And, like, for that, it was, like, you have to be personal.
Yeah.
And, sending mass emails, cold emails to try to get spots where you're like, oh, my God, you're the best booker. You're the best producer. And you, like, get an idea of what is not personal but feels personal. And this is one of those.
You're so good at this. Okay, we're at time. So before we go, though, I need to hear your best piece of dating advice or your dating mantra.
I think the best piece of dating advice is, I think we've talked about this, is that save yourself. Yeah. Because if you have sex on the first date, that holding hands is not going to feel special on date two. You need to savor the little moments. Like, I don't care if he's taking you on a walking date, even though I would not go. But, like,
You went to a walking date?
no.
No.
But I just feel like, if they make it in a cute way, if they're like, oh, let's do a picnic and I'll bring everything. Like, it doesn't have to be a stuffy dinner when he's, paying $200 for you. I think that I hate the idea of just sitting and, like, you're, like, exchanging names of your siblings while you're eating calamari. Like, it's not fun. But, like, yeah, like, find somebody who wants to do quirky things, interesting things. Like, even if it is, like, the best date I went on was a pasta date. Yeah.
Ooh, what do you mean a pasta date?
Like, we made pasta. It was a pasta making class.
Oh, that's actually so cute. I love that. And it's so personal. And
Yeah.
you're learning together.
And then at the end of it, like, we had one pasta and then we were eating it and it was like a spaghetti. And then we kissed while, like, getting the spaghetti noodle, like in the movies. And
Who are you? What?
And I usually don't kiss in the first date, but it was so cute. And,
You had
like,
to. It's perfect.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, find a guy who wants to do fun things. Like, you're in New York. There are a million guys out there.
Yeah.
Find somebody who thinks you're worth it.
1000%. Okay, where can people find you? Thank you so much. You're an icon. So funny. I can't wait to release this episode, but where can people find you?
Thank you so much. I am Lord Make Me Taller on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Yeah. Yes. And you can like usually find me at my doctor's clinic trying to get taller.
Every day.
Every day.
I love it. Thank you, Surbhi.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks again to our sponsor, First Rounds on Me. If you're tired of endless small talk with an overwhelming number of pen pals, go download First Rounds on Me now and get yourself a real date.